So the title of the study is The Emotional and Physical Approach to New Normal Classes of Students at Cebu Technological University, Carmen Campus. The abstract of the study aims to determine the emotional and physical approach to new normal classes of students at Cebu Technological University, Carmen Campus. The researcher used a descriptive method and made up questions for gathering data. The researcher used a closed questions where our respondents will pick an answer, and there is also one question to where the students are going to give their own opinion. In analyzing and interpreting data, statistical measures were used. The participants of the study were picked through stratified random sampling. The research will give awareness, information, and understanding for new normal classes, its factors on students' learning, and the students' approaches to new normal classes.
Chapter 1. The Problem and its Scope. Introduction. Rationale of the study. Today's teaching and learning field of study have been so challenging for the teachers, learners, and to whomever involved in this time's learning procedure. Because of the existence of COVID-19, which became the worldwide problem, or the pandemic, everyone is affected by this, in terms of economics, job, and most of all the learning field. Supposedly, the students and teachers are communicating in school, but due to this pandemic, we all need to just stay at home and learn to adopt the new normal classes that the government decided for the sake of everybody's life. Since we're all having online classes today, we can't escape from the reality that we could experience such emotional and physical approach as a student in this university. This study addresses these emotional and physical approaches to new normal classes of students at Cebu Technological University, Carmen Campus. As our researchers, we wrote a letter to the campus director of CTU Carmen Campus, Dr. Hector C. Abdon, and to the randomly selected participants in every department contacted online asking permission to conduct a study through an online consent letter. We then made our questionnaire for the participants of this study. We selected 10 first-year to third-year students from each department: Department of Education, Bachelor of Elementary Education, and Bachelor of Secondary Education, Department of Marine Engineering, Department of Industrial Technology, and fourth-year students from the Department of Fisheries. As a result of our study, we found out that students are having troubles in conducting online classes. Some are having problems with the internet connection, with their gadgets, or having exam and finish it before the quiz links goes off. But the worst scenario in these new normal classes, some students stop from doing classes because they can't afford any more about buying load in order to attend classes through Zoom or Google Meet. The very reason why we choose this study is because we want to address this scenario that our fellow students have been experiencing along the way of these new normal classes. We want to help them by means of spreading the facts that not all the students can afford such gadgets or loads for online classes, that there are emotional and physical approaches to new normal classes of students in our university. If possible, they could learn through modules if they want to. It is just to make sure that they could still make it to continue studying in these difficult times of learning in their home. In conducting this study, we as the researchers are having competence in terms of ways in conducting interviews. We need to find our target respondents through searching their account on social media, such as Facebook, since we're not able to interview them through face-to-face. We also need to be patient in getting their answers for our questions, because they might struggling with their internet connection or with their gadgets. So we need to be capable enough to communicate with our respondents through online, because they're such a big help for the success of our study. Theoretical background. This study anchored the theory of constructivist grounded theory, which is rooted in pragmatism and constructivist epistemology, in which pragmatism is a philosophical tradition that considers words and thought as tools and instruments for production, problem solving, and action, and rejects the idea that the function of thought is to describe, represent, or mirror reality. While constructivism is a view in the philosophy of science that maintains the scientific knowledge, is constructed by the scientific community, which seek to measure and construct models of the natural world. This assumes that neither data nor theories are discovered, but are constructed by researchers as a result of their interaction with the field and study participants. Within the framework of this approach, a literature review prior to data collection is used a productive and data-sensitive way without forcing the conclusions contained in the review of the collected data. We as the researchers co-constructed the data that we gathered from our respondents and colored these by our own perspectives, values, privileges, positions, interactions, and geographical locations. These data are factors which affect students' emotional and physical health for they are worried and has a lot of things to think. One of these factors are the resources, the internet connection, the deadline, the time management, the environment, and the self-learning itself. It is now painfully clear that the schools ought to have had more robust disaster preparedness plans in place in the event of interruption in their campus operations. But because many schools did not have such plans in place, online learning is about to get a bad reputation at many campuses, I suspect. Michael Horn, cited in Liederman 2020. Inside Higher Ed, this study will show the emotional and physical approach to new normal classes of students at Cebu Technological University Carmen campus. Though technology makes people's lives easier, especially to students, there are still circumstances that it affects the students in a wrong way or negative way. Now that the technology became the source or main tool of students' learning in new normal classes because of the pandemic, we are still getting bad reviews to it. Online learning, the new normal classes is not well getting positive reviews from students for we implement it when we are not ready. Though we don't have a choice or option, we are still not ready for it. Students still give their best in online learning but cannot prevent being stressed. Online learning hinders students' full learning because of the facts that students rely on it without deep understanding on it. Self-learning in new normal classes is not a guarantee for full learning because students still need teachers' guidance. But because of the environment and the low internet connection, it slows the students' teachers' interaction, causing the student to take full responsibility of their own learning. That causes their stress. This study aims to provide information for better understanding on students' approaches and perception on new normal classes. The students' emotional and physical approach to new normal classes will be comprehended and will be given consideration. Now that we are having a new normal classes due to the pandemic that we are now experiencing, even though the schools are not ready, it gives bad reputation and public feedback due to low internet connection or signal, as technology uses like the computer, laptop, and cell phone and the environment. Now, here is our constructivist grounded theory works. First is information gathering, information processing. Second, knowledge identification, critical thinking. Third, judgment formulation, decision. Fourth, implement intervention, evaluation.
Statement of the problem. This study assesses the emotional and physical approach to new normal classes of students at Cebu Technological University Carmen campus. Specifically, it answers the following questions. 1. How do students cope up to this new normal situation? 2. What are the common problems that students are facing through online classes? 3. What could be the possible effect of this new normal situation towards the academic performance of the students? 4. Does the learning of students to this new normal had the same level during face-to-face classes? And lastly, number 5, did the teachers' ways in imparting knowledge to this new normal satisfy their students? Significance of the study. This study is greatly beneficial to the following sectors. The first one is students. This will help the students address their struggles and challenges amidst this pandemic. The second one is teachers. The result of this study serves as their guide. The third one is parents. They will guide and understand their children more during the learning process. And the last one, researchers. This will help them find out some strategies on how to deal students' battle during this pandemic and serves as a reference to the future researchers. Scope and limitation of the study. The scope of the study focused on the emotional and physical approach of the participants in dealing new normal classes. The participants of the study were the students of Cebu Technological University Carmen campus. This is one-shot study. As such, it cannot guarantee stability of the results. The findings that may be obtained from this study may not be the same as in the future.
Research methodology. Research design. This study utilized the descriptive method at Cebu Technological University Carmen campus. Research environment. This study was conducted in Cebu Technological University Carmen campus located at RM Durano Avenue, Poblacion, Carmen, Cebu.
Research participants. The participants of the study were the students of Cebu Technological University Carmen campus. The researchers selected 10 first-year to third-year students from each department: the Department of Education, Bachelor of Elementary Education, and Bachelor of Secondary Education, Department of Marine Engineering, Department of Industrial Technology, and fourth-year students from the Department of Fisheries. They have been picked through stratified random sampling.
Research instruments. The researchers formulated a research-made test as an instrument in gathering data. Tests were focused on the emotional and physical approach of the Department of the Education, Bachelor of Elementary Education, and Bachelor of Secondary Education, Department of Marine Engineering, Department of Industrial Technology, from first year to third year students, and the Department of Fisheries to new normal classes.
Data gathering procedures. The researchers wrote a letter to Dr. Hector C. Abdon, the campus director of Cebu Technological University Carmen campus, and to the randomly selected participants in every department contacted online asking permission to conduct the study through an online consent letter. The researchers constructed a research-made questionnaire for the participants and submit to the research advisor through online for corrections and review. After finalizing the questionnaire, it was then administered to the participants via Google Forms through Facebook Messenger. Lastly, the participants will analyze and interpret the data being gathered. Statistical treatment. The study used descriptive method. Statistical treatment used were simple percentage and weighted mean. Simple percentage. This is to determine the percentage of the number of the respondents in the study. The formula is P equals F over N multiplied by 100, where P equals the percentage, F equals for frequency, and N for the total number of cases. Note that the 100 there is constant, which means by the hundreds. Weighted mean. This is used in determining the extent of performance of the respondents of solving the problem. This is the formula presented. Scoring procedures. The respondents were evaluated by Likert scale through a survey questionnaire. And here's the parameter of limits. Score 81 to 100. Descriptive rating highly satisfied. Verbal rating. Students come to have a score of 81% to 100%. Score 61 to 80. Descriptive rating satisfied. Verbal rating. Students come to have a score of 61% to 80%. Score 41 to 60. Descriptive rating neutral. Verbal rating. Students come to have a score of 41% to 60%. Score 21 to 40. Descriptive rating dissatisfied. Verbal rating. Dissatisfied students come to have a score of 21% to 40%. Score 0 to 20. Descriptive rating highly dissatisfied. Verbal rating. Students come to have a score of 0% to 20%.
Chapter 2. Presentation, Analysis, and Interpretation of Data. Chapter 3, Summary of Findings, Conclusions, and Recommendations.
Now let us go to Chapter 3, Summary of Findings, Conclusions, and Recommendations. This chapter shows the findings, conclusions, and recommendations based on the data analyzed. Since we are in pandemic today, we are advised to make a survey questionnaire in order for us to get the data or the informations that we needed in our study. And here is the survey questionnaire that we made. It has 10 questions. So for number 1, how do you feel about overall distance education? Number 2, do you have access to a device for learning online? Number 3, what device do you use for distance learning? Number 4, what internet connection do you use while having online learning? Why? Number 5, are you having problems with the internet connection with the gadgets or having exams and finish it before the quiz length goes off? Number 6, are there students that you know who stop from doing classes because they can't afford anymore in buying load in order to attend classes through Zoom or Google Meet? Number 7, do you enjoy online learning? Number 8, how helpful are your teachers while studying online? Number 9, is online education as effective as face-to-face instruction? And number 10, what is or are your approaches to the new normal classes? So those are the questions in our survey questionnaire. So in our research, we've gathered 27 females, which was about 54% of the total participants, and 23 male participants, which was about 46% of the total participants. Now here is our table 2 for the programs. So there is no male respondents in BE Ed. 13% were from BS Ed with 3 respondents. 35% were both from BS MARE with 8 respondents in each program, and 17% were from BS FI with 4 respondents. In the female respondents, there are 37% came from BE Ed with 10 respondents. 26% were from BS Ed with 7 respondents. 7.4 were from BS MARE and BIT with 2 respondents in each program, and 22.2% with 6 respondents from BS FI. So here is our table 3 for the gender. So like I said earlier, for the male we have 23, which is about 46%. For the female, it's 27, which was about 54% for the total, so 50. So all in all, it is 100%. Now let us go to table 4, which is the impacts of the emotional and physical approach to new normal classes of students at Cebu Technological University Carmen campus. In question 1, average is the highest percentage of 44% and excellent is the lowest, which is 0%. In question 2, yes, but it doesn't work well has the highest percentage of 52%. And no, I share with others is the lowest, which is 0%. In question 3, smartphone has the highest percentage of 52% and tablet is the lowest, which is 2%. In question 4, load has the highest percentage of 80% and Wi-Fi has 20%. In question 5, sometimes has the highest percentage of 64% and never is the lowest, which is 0%. In question 6, yes has the highest percentage of 62% and no has 38%. In question 7, no, there are quite a few challenges has the highest percentage of 44% and yes, absolutely is the lowest, which is 0%. In question 8, moderately helpful has the highest percentage of 40%, and extremely helpful has the lowest, which is 4%. In question 9, slightly has the highest percentage of 38%, and very effective has the lowest, which is 2%. In question 10, others have the highest percentage of 40%. Emotional approach has 38% and physical approach has the lowest, which is 22%.
Conclusion. Based on the findings of the study, the following conclusions were formulated. 1. More students use this load for the access compared to Wi-Fi. 2. Students have different approaches in dealing with the new normal classes. 3. The students' performances is affected due to the poor signal and lack of gadgets. 4. Some students in every courses do think and do projects in a manner of sequencing the type of activity and should always prepare their state of mind before going to class for the sake of new strategies and improves them in taking online classes.
Recommendations. Based on the findings, the following recommendations were hereby suggested. First, gives understanding to students on their emotional and physical approach to new normal classes. Second, the students being responsible with their own learning, being more hands-on, putting a lot of effort to overcome the factors affecting their performance in school during the new normal classes. Third, the students develops their sense of responsibility as they experience the new normal classes. Fourth, the students develops creativity on their performance as they put more effort as they experience the new normal classes. Fifth, the students develops ways on how to overcome the factors affecting their school performance as they face the new normal classes. Next, further recommendations. First, the COVID-19 pandemic through lens of education in the Philippines, The New Normal by Z. Tria. Second, Education in the New Normal by Oliver Wyman. Third, Education in the Time of COVID-19. Fourth, Handbook of Facilitating Flexible Learning by Wang, R.H., Leo, D.G., T. Lili, A. Yang, G.F. Wang, H.H. in the year of 2020. Fifth, The New Normal, The Future of Education After COVID-19 by Harry Kelter Pinner and Anna Ambrose.
And in the screen being presented is our shared references which we used in our research.